Yeah, I have. If you come over here and sit in one of these chairs,
Okay. Where are you sitting, Luke?
right there.
Okay. Wow.
time I see the sun, a rooster crows for days. And every time I see that gal, she always looks away. Hell, she always looks away. Hold on, baby, just hold on. I'll be coming home, back where I belong. Hold on, baby, baby, just hold on. Sunday morning meeting time, I hear them church bells ring. Y'all seen them late last night, go out and shake that thing. They went out and shake that thing. Oh, hold on, baby, just hold on. I'll be coming home, back where I belong. Yeah, baby, hold on, baby, baby, just hold on. Well, in the shade I waste my days, tonight I go to town. Well, I'm upstairs with them good time gals, always going down. Yeah, they're always going down. Hold on, baby, just hold on. I'll be coming home, yeah, back where I belong. Hold on, baby, won't you hold on one more time, baby? Yep, I'm getting right in through the night, twinkling in her eye. Little girl, she ain't got me yet, but Lord, she loves to try. Oh, Lord, she does try. Hold on, baby, just hold on. I'll be coming home, baby, back where I belong with you, baby. Hold on, baby, just hold. Won't you hold on? I said, baby, just hold on.
Click on a couple more buttons. Okay, I think we got everything streaming now. I hope so. So welcome to SLAN podcast number 2, and we are sitting here at the beautiful St. Aubrey Airport. We're on St. Aubrey South, so if you're out and about and want to come by and take a look at the airport and sit in on the podcast, you are certainly welcome to do so. We've got a pretty good agenda going here. We're going to look at some things that's going on. We're going to get a report about St. Aubrey Airport, hopefully. And we got the two airport owners here, Metmez and Bull O'Grady. And our building expert here is AW, and he's going to be sharing a new build he's got, or several new builds. So we'll be talking about that. And we're going to talk about how to improve grid travel and some things that you might do as you're crossing the grid to make it more enjoyable so you don't crash so much, because that is aggravating. So let me give my guests a chance to talk here. AW, go ahead. Say hi and anything else you want to.
Well, hello everyone. This is AW calling from this beautiful airport, and it's nice to be here again. We had a great time the first go around, and I'm looking forward to spending the next hour with you.
Yes, that's good. Yeah, and you can check out on the YouTube channel there our first podcast, our first crack at a podcast, I guess you might say. And yeah, so, and it come off quite well, and it's been received well by our audience. So we thought we would try it again. Metmez, how about you, bud? Can you say
Well,
hi?
I am here. Hi, everybody. I am the owner of half airport of St. Aubrey. We will talk about later then. I'm glad to be here, and thank you, Luke, to be here too and to have organized this meeting.
Okay, yeah. So thank you for providing this great place to do this. And I like it here because we can, I'm going to zoom the camera around here a little bit, but we can res any vehicles or anything we want to talk about right out here, right outside the door here on the tarmac. And I do have one of AW's newest releases here. Him and Mickey's newest plane out here, and we'll be talking about that in a little bit. Very cool plane. I flew it quite a bit there on a pretty long grid flight, and it did quite well. So
Well, it's good to hear that.
yeah, it did. It was really nice. Bull, I don't think Bull's got in the audio yet, so we'll wait here and give Bull a chance to say something when he gets in. I'm going to push up the topics here on the screen. We got if there's any special events, if anybody knows that's listening or watching knows of any special events that I'm not aware of, I don't have any on the list right now. You might send them to us here, and we'll talk about it here in the show. We'll let Metmez and Bull tell us anything that's going on here at St. Aubrey. And then we're going to talk about how to improve grid travel. And then we're going to go to our builder's corner and let AW take over and show us some of the cool stuff that he's got and some things that he's working on. So let's go. So maybe you all are aware of any special events going on in the aviation community. I don't know of any myself right now. No?
Well, nothing's coming to mind.
Yeah.
I'm sort of trying to recall if anybody mentioned a special event in aviation in particular.
Yeah.
And not really.
There's not a lot of them, mostly air shows, I think. And of course, we have the weekly grid flight with the Skyward Flying Club. They do a grid flight every Saturday, I think, and at least 3 Saturdays a month. I'm not sure. I haven't been on one for a while, so I'm not sure of their schedule. But so if you want to grid fly with a group, that's always an option there, and it's always a lot of fun. And they usually have a traveling DJ with them to play some music while you're flying, and usually a dance party or something at the end of the flight. So and that's every week. And of course, we'll let AW talk a little bit. He's a newest sponsor for Drivers of SL, and you're sponsoring the grid drive this week, right, AW?
Yes, I am. In fact, I believe that will start either midnight or early this coming Saturday, tomorrow. So it's going to finish at my little shop. That's Alpha Omega Design. And I have a nice gift to give everyone for that, which maybe I'll show everyone later. But it's my first sponsoring journey, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hoping that I'll be there for some of the larger numbers of people arriving. It'll be real interesting to see that many people in my little shop.
Yeah, they will be, and they'll be coming in all week long, really. There'll be a big influx over the weekend, and then it'll kind of taper off, but there'll be people coming through all week long.
Well, the gift giver will be up and running for at least 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. So that's good. So drivers of SL, I don't remember. I looked recently. I haven't checked how many people there are in that group, but it's something like 7,000, I think, something like that. So, yeah, that's a big.
Yes, just about 7,000.
Yeah. So I'm sure that's probably one of SL's biggest groups, and it just keeps growing. And Christy uh, runs that, and I think she's got some more help creating the drives, but that's a tremendous amount of work every week to put those drives together, because they have to go through the drive and mark all the waypoints to load into the nav HUD, and it's a lot of work. I helped with a drive once, but Christy don't have enough time to train me to be a drive creator, but we did one for our lawn chair Larry grid flight that we did, and it was a lot of fun, and it was a great learning experience for me. MTFB Radio's been a sponsor of the Drivers of SL now for several months or several years, maybe 6 years or so, just shortly after they started the group anyway. But
in regards to the building of the drives, there was a video posted about a week ago by the person who built the last drive before this one.
Mm-hmm.
And they took you right through the whole process. So I think the video itself was 3 hours, and that did not encompass the entire process.
Yeah.
So it's a long process.
I saw them discussing that video in the drivers group chat, but I haven't watched it yet, so that's good. I may watch that. I have thought, that I'd like to get more involved and start creating some drives, but that's probably a subject for another time. But yeah,
That'd be a good
that's
subject.
Cool. Yeah. So, of course, we don't want to tell what your gift is. We don't want to ruin the surprise of your gift, but we do thank you for providing that, and I'll be going over tomorrow to pick up my HUD and do the drive. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you'll have a fun time with the gift then, I hope. But
Yeah.
Christy was very happy when I contacted
Oh yeah.
her about hosting, because I make my own scripts. I don't just drop like ACS or any of that. I make my own scripts for cars.
Uh-huh.
And she thought that was pretty rare. Not very many sponsors who make their own scripts for cars.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, that's that is pretty rare. So, and she's always looking for sponsors, and so if anybody's listening out there and they want to sponsor a grid drive, just let us know. Contact Christy. And you can pick up the drive HUDs at the driver's HQ. There's like a file, or I think it's a kiosk now. They used to have like a file cabinet you clicked on, but if I remember
Yeah,
right,
the main one is a thing that looks like a vending machine now.
Yeah, they got like a kiosk vending machine type thing, and you get your drive. I don't know. It's been a while since I've done a drive, and not sure. So anyway, I'd done many of them before, so looking forward to this one for sure. So that's nothing going on new with GTFO that I know of. Have you heard anything recently about GTFO?
There
Nothing.
is a possibility of sort of a new version of GTFO that people are talking about, but there's no talk about when that will happen.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I heard something about that, and I just wondered if they were still working on it. I hadn't heard anything recently, but
Well,
that's
based on the information that I get as someone who makes cars that are GTFO, um, it looks like they are changing some of the not the requirements, but their policies regarding what the criteria is for how many units a thing can carry and stuff like that. Like
oh,
that may not change in any dramatic way, but I think they're simplifying it a little bit.
I see.
But don't quote me on that because this is all, I think, very new. So it may just be concepts.
Okay. Very. And I did hear. Now that you mentioned that, I did hear some discussion about that before, and that's always a topic of discussion, I think, about how they rate the vehicles and what they can carry and everything. Important part of GTFO as well. Uh, but yeah, so G. I mean, I saw a change if you look back at kind of the history here of traveling the grid, whether you're doing it in a plane or a boat or uh, you know a land vehicle or a horse or whatever you were doing. Uh, you see when GTFO came along and drivers of SL, well, now all of a sudden we have a reason to go from point A to point B, and it just caused the whole vehicle industry to explode, I think, and people uh, started actually getting out and traveling places, not just teleporting, but actually driving from sim to sim. So that made it. Linden Labs, I'm sure, is appreciative of all the work that those folks, the GTFO creators. I think it was Rez Gray created GTFO, and he sold it. I don't think he's involved with it at all anymore. And of course, Christie created, and some others created drivers of SL, and those have.
I don't think that. I mean, if suddenly Second Life became something without vehicles, I don't think I would stay. Vehicles actually, I think, are the one or two or three most important of the one or two or three most important things for me in Second Life. Vehicles are right up there.
Right, yeah, same with me. Uh, I I'd been in Second Life for about a week, maybe 2 weeks before I got a helicopter and started flying it. And of course, cars were a little longer, buying ground vehicles, but yeah, so I started flying, and I didn't have any clue what I was doing, and I would just take off from my parcel and just fly across land until I crashed or something. And then I discovered airports and started trying to fly from airport to airport. And so yeah, same with me. Now, I've met a lot of people, and we do Relay for Life. We have the Fly for Life team. So that puts us in touch with a lot of people that aren't involved with aviation or driving or anything like that. And we find a lot of people that's never been in a plane here or even driven a car here, and so it's a great opportunity for us to introduce them to that. And
I've met some people who are years old. They've been here for a while, who didn't even know that there were vehicles in Second
right,
Life.
yeah, yeah, I know that I think the thing that got me started, uh, there was near my parcel, and I did have a boat, and I was out in my boat, and I went by a house, and it was a nice big house, and it had a helipad up on the roof of it, and a helicopter was sitting on it. I thought that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I want to get I want to get one, so I did. Set me up a helipad at my house and everything. That's how I got started flying. Of course, then learning to fly a plane was a little more difficult. But I started buying planes and things. Okay, let's take a look at
Well,
Go ahead.
yes, Bull is still to try the connection with
Okay.
voice. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So I will start to
Okay.
talk about Saint Aubrey. We are staying here at Saint Aubrey Sud. This is the southern part of Saint Aubrey. And Saint Aubrey is one of the most beautiful airports in Second Life, as visitors keep telling us. And as you know, Saint Aubrey consists of two sims. This makes it a medium-sized airport. The original northern part has the runway and a marina with direct access to the sea. And in the 5.5 years of its existence, we have counted around 57,000 visitors. So
Wow.
it's an important airport in Second Life. And visitors are telling us that they love to come here, to go around, to have a look, and they are happy, I think. And this here is the southern part of the airport, Saint-Aubrey Sud. We prefer to pronounce the name Saint-Aubrey Sud in French here as a tribute to my co-owner, Hakuria. And by the way, it is the daughter of Bull. Hakuria is a native French speaker. Hakuria and I built this part about 1.5 years ago to...
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we hear
Yes.
you. Your volume's very
Bull
loud.
is
though.
here too. Welcome, Bull. Very good.
Welcome, Bull.
Well, I say Hakuria and I built this part about 1.5 years ago to complement the northern part. And we have already counted more than 5,000 visitors since then too. By the way, Hakuria cannot participate at this podcast. She's unfortunately unable to attend, which is very unfortunate as she is an important person here. Shall I tell you some things, some special things about Saint-Aubrey Sud?
Sure.
Okay. Here, in addition to their own marina, pilots will here also find personal terminals. That's very interesting. Terminals for the airlines, hangars for the aircraft, bungalows for living, and above all, a bar that is open to everyone and where you can really eat and drink and talk together, something that is missing at many other airports. If you are flying around in Second Life, you will see this too. Go to Second Norway, for example. There is no cafe, no bar, nothing else, or other big airports, nothing to sit down and to talk and to eat together. The bar here, but also the range of offers and above all the careful design of the surroundings makes Saint-Aubrey something special. I think something worth seeing. This is also what the numerous visitors keep telling us. They are happy, they come again, they look around, they are hanging around here. While Hakuria is co-owner of the Northern Sim 2, I only took on this role 1.5 years ago as the owner of Saint-Aubrey Sud when it was founded.
Okay.
That's what I have to say to this Saint-Aubrey and to Saint-Aubrey Sud in special. The question is why are we creating airports? That's an interesting question for me too, and people often ask me about. I have to say, it's a difficult question to answer because if you travel by plane in Second Life and also land at other airfields, you will notice that there are often hardly any planes there, and people are often missing altogether. So what the hell, for whom do you build an airfield?
Yeah,
What's
true.
what's more, I say that there are too many public airfields in Second Life. That is my opinion. Since the number of residents in Second Life has been steadily declining in recent years, and the question of the sense of a public airfield arises all the more then. And every new public airfield exacerbates the situation. It's something you cannot influence. But what's concerning me, my personal motivation for enhancing Santa Bray with an additional theme for before the flight and after the flight, this is Santa Bray Sud. This motivation was to preserve and complement the special character of Santa Bray. I am a pilot in real life myself and have professional management experience. And as I have been in Second Life for almost 17 years, I love to bring a piece of my real life experience here. That is my motivation, and I am happy with. And it's a game I love to play.
Cool.
Just a difficult question are the finance, how to pay it. And if I talk with the tenants, they have, I often the feeling that the tenants, all of whom I appreciate, by the way, are not aware of the costs of an airfield. Saint-Tropez Sud costs me around 28,000 Linden dollar every month. That's more than 120 US dollars every month. On average, the rental income covers about 60% of this. This means that I have to pay around $75 myself every month. That's almost 900 US dollars every year that I am paying by myself. So you can't make any money running an airfield in Second Life. That's not possible. Even if you will raise the rents, then you don't get the renters. Let
Right.
me
I think we
say
should all
that,
feel a lot of gratitude for people like you and the others
yes,
who
Yeah.
will put their own resources into making this a richer experience for everyone.
yeah,
Yeah. I have, of course, I own Gencel Airport, and
mhm.
I have about one and a half regions now, a little over one and a half regions, and I'm paying 275 a month, US dollars. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's I have to. Of course, if you put it in group, I think you get a little better thing, but of course, the land's all deeded to group, so it doesn't really cut my cost, but it gives me some extra uh, parcel. I guess it does actually uh, cut the cost a little bit. But here's the thing with that. So I have just a narrow space for my runway that connects directly to the water. The water sim, the Linden sim that's out there on my approach path to the runway. And when one of those there was like a 512 parcel came available, and they put it on the land auction. And all those waterfront parcels, they almost always do that. And so the land auction, I got on there and I bid clear up to 100,000 lindens to get that parcel, and
Wow.
somebody beat me, and then they had it for like a week and they sold it to somebody else.
Oh, geez.
And,
Was it
and
like a land baron that flipped it for more?
yeah, that's what it was. And so they know how to do that land auction thing. They wait until, because I put a bid in of 100,000 with like 3 seconds to go, and they still beat me. And
Oh,
Mhm.
they
you know,
have some kind of sniper tool
yeah,
or whatever.
they must have. And so probably but and then so they sold it to somebody else, and then that person ended up selling it back to me for less less than that, so I did end up coming out pretty good. But it's just crazy. You know, I don't see how somebody can afford to pay that much for a little parcel, but I guess they buy enough of them and they flip them. But
Well, it would be very interesting to listen what Bull has to say about that, because he was much more earlier to build the Saint Aubray airport, and maybe he has another motivation. So
yeah,
let's
Bull.
hear what you have to say, Bull. Oh, can you hear
Am
me?
I on?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
might cut
Am
your
I
volume
on?
back a little bit. Yeah, you're on. I'm gonna open my interface up here and turn this volume down on my end a little bit here. Evidently he's having trouble hearing us. Now, he's grayed out in here. He must have lost his voice again.
Yeah.
He dropped back out of the group.
Oh.
He dropped the
Yep.
call. So
Having some
That's a
voice
pity.
issues.
yeah.
Well, I can continue to say why I am doing it, although it's not the financial side of the story. Let me say that it is my personal contribution to offering pilots a special ambience and pleasure. We want to be a special airport, a special airfield with a special ambience. And all of us here enjoy seeing happy faces all around us, and I think it is so. And we also place a high value of helping each other and maintaining fair and
Testing
friendly
1, 2,
relations.
3.
Yes. Ah, hello, Bull. It's good.
We hear you, Bull. Can you hear us? I don't think he's hearing us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you turn me down a little bit? This is really loud and I can't, every time I try to turn it down.
Yeah, I'm trying to get, hold on here. We'll get you going here. Yeah, I tried to earlier and you dropped out. Okay, now try it. Go ahead, Bull.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that's
Sounds
a
good
lot
to me.
better. Yeah. I think you're good now, Bull. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I've got a heck of a delay. Is that normal?
Are you listening in voice or do you have the stream on? Turn the stream off and just listen in voice.
Oh, I've got the stream on.
Yeah, turn the stream off because we're talking in
Okay.
chat. Okay. Now that'll help you, I think. Okay, so Bull, anything you want to tell us about St. Aubrey and your involvement here and contribute to the conversation here about cost and whatever?
Yeah, I think I got it now.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I did.
go ahead. Go ahead, Bull. Talk to us about St. Aubrey and anything you want to say about it. We were talking about the cost of airports and things like that.
Yeah, I got an echo or something. I sorry about that.
You sound okay here. You're still a little loud, but I've got you turned down quite a bit.
What I'm doing is I have YouTube muted.
Yeah, I
And I'm
still
just-
hear like two voices here. I'm not sure.
If you mute YouTube, then you'll be able to hear everything in real time.
This is live and unedited, so Second Life's going to
Yeah.
be Second Life, you know. So
This
can
is
you
the
hear us now,
unedited
Bo?
version.
Yeah. Hey, this is our real Second Life. This is what kinds of things we deal with all the time. So, Bull, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I've got YouTube completely off, but I've got two different voices. One's, I don't know, hang on.
It seems it does not work.
Yeah, he may get it here. We'll give him. Give him just a
I
Meanwhile,
wonder if I should log off and log back in.
second.
That usually fixes a lot of things in SL.
Yeah.
well,
That's
I
all right.
can continue.
Yeah,
Yes.
let me go
Talk
ahead
about-
and relog. I don't know if it's going to make a difference. Hang on a second.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Do it.
That fixes a lot of problems
Yeah.
with electric. I'm an electrician by trade, so we call it cycling power. So that fixes a lot of problems when you,
If only
you
that
cycle
worked on
power.
musical instruments.
Yeah, yeah. So is it the instrument problem or the musician problem?
Well, it depends on the type of instrument, I think. But with my instruments, it's almost always the person between the brain and the instrument. There's something that, the person sitting between the chair and the keyboard is always the issue. Well, with music, it's almost always like that too.
Yeah, yeah. I don't see how you do it. It's a lot of things to remember, hand-eye coordination and all that stuff.
Well, you do it and you just keep doing it, and then once the decades mount up, you don't really
Yeah.
have to think about the coordination.
You build up the muscle memory and all, and it works. Okay, Bull is back in. Maybe he'll get back in the group here. And so, Mez, anything else you want to add about the airport here while we're waiting on Bull to get back?
Yes, I can. We are proud about the naturalness of Apple.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah. Can you hear us okay now?
Oh man, that did it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you just had
So-
to relog them.
Yeah, I'm going to cut you down even a little more. You're still kind of loud. Got a lot of gain there on your mic. But don't touch anything. It's working. So, Bull, go ahead and talk about St. Aubrey, and I guess you heard our conversation about the cost and all that stuff. So just say anything you want.
Yeah, I don't. How's that volume? Is that all right?
That's better. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to turn me down a little bit as I'm talking, that's cool. Yeah, I'm sorry. I wanted to be here earlier, but I was at a DJ gig over at Rock.
Okay.
But yeah, boy, I don't know. Is it 2019? I think we've been around here since is when my ex-wife, Kess, and I opened St. Aubrey's back then.
Uh-huh.
We kind of modeled it after St. Martin, which is no longer around. Sort of. It's not really like St. Martin, but it sort of is. That was my thought initially, anyway. And our daughter was named Aubrey, so we named it St. Aubrey. And there actually is a St. Aubrey. We didn't know that at the time when we named it, but it's there is one.
Cool.
But I
In
think
the
there's
Virgin
saints for
Islands, or-
everything. I don't know. But yeah, we started. Kess did a lot of the work. We just go around all the time tinkering, looking for little things that are crooked, trying to fix stuff. It's kind of fun, With the rentals, it kind of offsets the price. It's like owning a club, though. You're not going to make any money. I'm not sure any of the clubs make any money, but I don't know. It's not about making money.
Right. Yeah. If it was, we wouldn't be doing it, would we?
Right. The owners, this estate, um, the estate here is a huge estate, and they're really good about making sure all the skies are open, and they're just fantastic. Anyway, they had at one time, they had all the airports limited. The only one was over at Fiji. I think you know where that is.
Right. Yes.
That was the only airport at that time, and they wouldn't let you create airports back then. And so they came out one day, this property came open, and they put out a message if anybody wanted to open a sanctioned airport through the estate. And I jumped on it back
Yeah,
then.
I would have too.
Since then, though, they've opened it up a little bit.
Hmm.
They kind of
You cut out there, Bull.
Yeah, they opened up the airports. There's a few more now. I think they're all private.
Hmm.
This one in Fiji, I think, are the only two sanctioned ones
Right.
by the estate owners.
Yeah. Well, originally when this was Seychelles, and they made them change the name because of copyright or something, I think. And I wasn't the original owner where Fiji Airport is now, but it's Seychelles Airport, and I was an owner of that for about a year, I think. And
Really?
yeah,
I didn't
and
know that.
Jenny that owns Fiji was she opened an adjoining sim, and we extended the runway all the way from hers across, and then I had another airport, Beitashan, that some friends of mine were going to have to leave Second Life for a while, and they just let me take over the tier payment, so I didn't have to pay. So I took that over, and it was quite a bit cheaper than the Seychelles airport. So I got sold my Seychelles, or just got out of it, basically just paying here, because you just pay the monthly tier here, like rental property. I guess it's the same. And
Wasn't Fiji based on original? I mean, it was an airport, an actual airport.
I think the original build was, and then I changed it all because they made it more like a big metropolitan concrete and airport, and I kind of changed it to more of an island setting, which I thought, like what you have here, is more appropriate. And I made it where we had a beach right below the end of the runway, so it'd be like the real St. Martin, when planes would fly in right over the people on the beach. And,
Yeah.
Oh, that
So-
makes me want
That
to
was
invent
fun.
something
I mean,
that'll
that
do
was a
jet
good
blast.
jog.
Yeah. Say what?
And that was a good jog to that airport, St. Martin, the old St. Martin.
Yeah.
That
It,
was a
it makes
nice
me
jog.
want to script something that'll create jet blasts so people can come
Yeah.
and get blown away by the planes when they stand there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool, and you could probably do that.
Yeah, you could, sure. Just it'd be like a gun with physical.
Yeah. So, boy, anything else you want to add? We're going to have to move on to our next topic here, but
No, go ahead. If I remember something or think of something, I'll jump in.
okay, that's fine. Yeah, it's always open mic here. Anytime you want to say anything, jump in. So, in our first podcast, AW and I had a little conversation about, grid crossing and things you could do to improve your chances of surviving a long grid flight. And I have you guys are gonna have to listen to the audio stream here. I'm gonna play a audio clip that I have, and then we can discuss it. So I'll wait because there'll be a delay from when you hear it when it ends on my end. So let me get set up here to start it. And this is how to improve grid travel is what I titled it, and I made it. I hope it's going to load in my player now. I played it about 10 times to make sure. Yeah, there it goes. And I used the voice is AI generated. It's not the actual person's voice, but I got this from a SL, the blog or the wiki, SL wiki post, I guess it was, about grid travel. But I find it very interesting, and I've played it several times on my radio stream for drivers of SL. So I'm going to key this up and sit back if you got your land stream going, or I guess you probably hear it on YouTube as well. So here we go.
The following step-by-step process is by Clyatina, Professional Cynic, posted in Second Life community forums on November 29, 2017. Sim crossings are generally bad, as SL is really bad at handling them. This is a server-side problem inherent in the sim-to-sim transfer process. This is the process. 1. The sim you are on bundles up the current state of your inventory, every parameter of every face of every prim of every object you wear or have in inventory, the current state of every script, every memory variable, the whole damn thing. 2. Your inventory is fired at the asset servers. 3. You are fired at the target sim, naked, bald, and roofed. 4. The target sim decides if it wants to accept delivery of you. 5. The target sim sucks down your total inventory state from the asset servers, and tries to figure out which bits of it are supposed to be attached to you. 6. The target sim starts up any scripts in the stuff that's been attached. Cue massive lag spike as your script CPU time goes up about 900% for several seconds. 7. Congratulations, you have arrived. So, it goes without saying that this is a complex process that happens at every region crossing. We cannot change this process, but we can do things on our end that will make it smoother and reduce our chances of the dreaded crash. Thank you, Clyatina. That was very informative. Now, here are some tips to improve your grid travel. Descript, descript, descript. The fewer scripts that have to be transferred at a crossing, the better your chances of survival. Many people move around SL with hundreds of scripts attached to their avatars. You are already dealing with 20 or more scripts in a given vehicle and another 30-some if you are wearing a NAV HUD. Pick a vehicle that is scripted with region crossings in mind. Reduce draw distance and graphic quality. Slow down at region corners. Try not to cross exactly at the corner. Move to the right or left and take each crossing slowly. You'll feel the bump when the crossing is complete, so wait for the first one before you proceed to the second. Thank you for listening. We hope this helps to make your grid travel more enjoyable.
Okay, I think I got my mic back on here, and so I'll give these guys a chance to hear it on the stream since there is some latency here, and we'll see what they say. But it's a very interesting topic, and when I first read that online there, I thought, wow, yeah, I think that explains it very well. I'm going to ask the expert AW. I think he knows a little more since he's a scripter. If what she tells us in that clip was accurate, but yeah, it's a lot of people don't know that this happens, and most of the problems, not all of them, but with lag, are client side, I think. So that means it's on our computers. A lot of it is anyway. So we have to anything we can do to minimize that will help us here. So guys, is it done playing yet?
Oh yeah. I
Okay.
only had about a 5-second.
Oh really?
latency.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think, AW? Is that pretty
Well,
accurate?
nothing that was said is incorrect as far as what I know, but I will have to put a big disclaimer on that, saying that, and this is a general policy that I have about almost all information about Second Life. There are insufficient facts to be sure of anything when it comes to Second Life, and especially stuff like this where there is no official information source that tells you what's going on under the hood.
Right.
So we can only make assumptions. And so I agree that it is at least partially a client-side issue, but we all know that the servers vary in their abilities to handle
That's
whatever
true.
the load is.
That's true.
So in
What do you
addition to,
think
go ahead.
of as far as either SL, the Linden's viewer, or Firestorm? Is there any one particular? Do they make any difference crossing sims?
I don't have enough viewers to know for sure, but what
Yeah.
I can say between the two that I use, um, Firestorm crosses better than Alchemy. Alchemy is about the same as the SL viewer, and Firestorm is better for me. That may just be because of the way I have my Firestorm configured. But this is just for me, and I've heard other people say the exact opposite, so I would very much hesitate to make any conclusions based on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I've used Firestorm since I started, 10 years ago, but, the new version of Firestorm, has everybody downloaded that yet, or are you still using the...
I'm avoiding it. I still have
Yeah.
the last of the pre-PBR versions, which runs a lot better. I've got
Yeah,
the new
me-
one on a different computer.
Me too. Me too.
I
And
have
I
the
tend to, I have to use both because some of the products I make have PBR, but generally
Yeah.
I use the old version.
I have the PBR, but I don't think I have the latest version of it. But I'm on the PBR, and it has worked okay for me for the most part. I think I've had a few more crashes at region crossings. I know when AW and I did the flight challenge there, I crashed a few times.
Yep, there was a
Which-
few times when I had to stop the plane and do a little teleporting so we could
Yeah.
get there.
So, and that hasn't happened to me for a long time. So, don't know what the problem. There's so many, like AW says, there's so many variables that it's hard to pin it down or say one thing works better than the other. I think, it's a lot
I
of
mean,
it's
there's a
personal
few
preference.
There's a few things I would add to what was said. I would add that script time matters a lot more than script count.
Yeah.
From my own experience, you could have something that has 60 scripts in it, but if they don't use much script time, then that's what matters. At least in my experience, it's script time that makes the biggest difference.
Right.
But another thing that wasn't mentioned, which I would definitely mention, is, and I want to qualify this statement with an opinion. I have it's very controversial opinion, but my opinion is that most of the information that we have now is in some way, or at least in some percentage, misinformation. It's not intentional, but it's just people have learned, to believe what other people have said, and there is no definitive authoritative answer as to whether it's a fact. And one of those things that people believe is that mono is faster than non-mono. And if you're in a single sim, I believe this is true because it does use memory more efficiently as far as I know. But the downside to mono is that, now if you remember what they said in the audio that you just played, you have to load all that stuff in really quickly and reload everything into memory every time you make a crossing. So imagine doing that 100 times. That's 100
Right.
different computers where you have to load into their memory everything that you're carrying with you. Well, every one of those mono scripts takes longer to load than the non-mono scripts for two reasons. One is that it's just how mono was created, and the other one is that they can be quite a bit bigger because the non-mono scripts are limited to 16K. The mono can be as big as 64. And that's one of the biggest issues with planes and cars. I can tell immediately the difference when I click that mono button. If I'm writing a script and it's small enough that I could do both, and I switch it to mono, it doesn't work as well. And it works great in a single sim, but as soon as you go over the crossings, it slows you down. So
Okay,
I try to undo mono in just about every script that I can in an aircraft.
So explain to us non-scripters what is mono and non-mono.
Well, very quickly, the scripts are written in a language called LSL, which you
Right.
write, and it's relatively easy to understand for a human being. And that has to be compiled into machine language, which is essentially something that you can't understand what's in ones and zeros and stuff like that. So there's two ways of compiling it. They can compile it the old way, which is called LSO, or they could compile it the new way, which is called mono, and this is something they created about 10 years ago, where the compiling process was different, but the end result was that you could have bigger programs loading into memory, and they would have a dynamic way of allocating the memory, so you could, if the program needed more, it would use more. If it needed less, it would use less, as it was written into this machine code that only the machines can understand. And so when you use the old version, it's limited, but it's also a little bit faster to load. And that's the main thing that you have that's an advantage with using the old version.
I see.
I hope that didn't make it more confusing.
No, that's good.
So with Sansa, was that a whole different system?
Yeah, I
That's
think
outside
so.
my experience.
Yeah, I believe it was. The failed, what we called Second Life 2.0 was supposed to be, and yeah, that was I went in there a couple times and decided I didn't want to do it. So I got out. I never went back, but I guess that was the case for a lot of people. But I think that was a whole different. That was
But
more of a video game platform than Second
yeah,
Life.
what I have to say in this situation, I think the absolutely wrong way to make Second Life more complicated with the new possibilities, new graphic possibilities, PBR and things like that. In the consequence, the computer has to work more, has more to do, and so it's more difficult for the computer and for the service too to cross the sims. It's the not problem. We have not a problem in Second Life to have a bad graphic, to things like that. We have the problem that we have difficulties by crossing the sims. That is the problem we have, and I'd prefer that Linden had to recognize the needs we have and not to create things we don't need. That's a difficult thing, but well, the problem to cross the sim maybe is not as severe for every avatar here. It depends on the technical possibilities you have and on the number of the scripts. We have heard it, that I agree that. But the whole situation is not a good situation in Second Life. And
Right.
I think it would be better to think about that on the technique. The technique is more than 20 years old.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is old technology. Now, back to the point of what actually happens when you cross from one region to another. What was explained on the sound clip I played. I did have some experience with OpenSim, which was based on the Second Life code and the physics and everything. And what was I taught high school, and we got a grant, and we got to set up an OpenSim server and used it as an educational tool for programming and things. And I had a couple computer geniuses in there. They knew a lot more about it than me, but they got into the code, and basically it's just a bunch of databases that you call on. But you could see, we could bring up, when we cross an avatar from one region to another, we streamed it. You could see what happened. In other words, it would print out. It was we had it in a box there, and it would show transferring all that stuff over. So at least that version of OpenSim, that's the way it worked. And I assume, because that was all based on the Second Life server code and everything.
It's all baggage, the more
Yeah.
baggage you carry from each location, then the
Yeah.
longer it'll take for the various databases
Yeah.
to grab whatever that baggage is that you're carrying with you.
So
But
I
then
mean,
it also has to get rendered by your viewer too. So one of the things
Right.
that we're dealing with now is there's a lot of 2K textures,
yeah,
and if there's 1,000 2K textures in the next sim over, that's going to affect your FPS.
Yeah.
very much that on your end. You know,
That
it might
that's a
not be
good
on the
point.
server end.
That clip didn't bring up, but about how textures affect your performance. So yeah, that's true.
Oh, really? The textures
Yeah.
themselves, huh?
Hmm.
Yeah, if you go into a sim, especially in a car, because in a cars you're closer to the objects like trees that have a lot of textures, and it doesn't even matter if you have a low draw distance. You're in a car, you can immediately see your FPS drop. It could get cut in half from as soon as you go into the next sim because the owners of that sim, or the tenants of that sim, have all got excessive amounts of textures.
So
They
the
all have to
text,
get rendered by your viewer, even if you can't see them. If your draw distance is large enough, it's going to render them.
so what is the good size for textures? Is it you want a lower pixel rate or a higher pixel?
You got to decide what you're using them for. So, for instance, if you make an aircraft and then you've got one massive texture for the whole fuselage, well, that's a good candidate for the biggest you can get. If you could get 4K, you'd want it there. But if you had that, plus you had like 10 different textures for little tiny like decals, something that has your tail number on there, and then it's another thing that might just look like a flag. Well, if there's 10 of them, but they're all really small, you're much better off having the 256K texture, a real small one. Because every time that you go through another sim, it's going to have to load, and if there's 10 people, that's 10 people that have to load it, and so on and so forth. So you kind of have to decide, well, what's this really going to be for? If I have a palm tree in the background, and it doesn't matter that it's 2K, if I've got 25 textures of palm fronds there, then you're much better off having them be a smaller texture because it'll take less time to load and it'll be less of an impact on people's viewers.
Yeah.
But if it's something like a really nice poster that you have that's right in front of your face, then yeah, make it a really nice high quality texture.
Yeah, I always wondered about that. So the smaller the item, you want to make a smaller texture and not so many pixels.
Yeah, well, if you had a whole bunch of tiny textures and you've just thought, well, I'll just use the regular default uploader, and it by default will upload them all at 1024 resolution, but they're going to end up being so small and maybe on the bottom of something that no one will ever see it. That's the kind of thing you have to think about when you're building stuff because that will affect people's lag.
Yeah.
Very good to know.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Okay, that's a good conversation. I just looking at the clock here, and we are running out of our time, but I wanted to give AW a chance now to talk about some of his builds and the new release of the plane there, and anything else you want to talk about, AW.
Well, thank you. Well, the plane that you have here is the Pilatus PC7. I showed it a little bit in the last video, and this one is, I believe, the latest release. It's a single engine turboprop, and it flies like a fighter. It flies not like a jet fighter. It's more like a warbird, but it's a little bit more gentle, And I've also used it to go from sim to sim, and it goes from sim to sim really well. But it does fly like a fighter. So if you want to go to, loops and barrel rolls and things like that, it definitely does that type of thing. So that's really what it excels at. And we have one that's going to be due. Oh, geez, I don't know. I think next week, probably midweek or maybe next weekend. I'm just working on the last stuff for this one. This is a PTF product, and this is going to be the Warthog.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, this one, I don't know if you got sound on, but
Yeah,
you got to hear sound for this one because the sound is really the thing to hear. So I'm just going to go in it.
Okay.
And
it looks awesome.
yeah, the Warthog is cool. So if you can see the engines on the intake side where the fans are.
Yeah, I'm cammed into them right now.
Yeah, I'm just going to start it up. So it's got the sounds, but they also will.
Yeah.
You can see the fans start to spin up.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that was sort of a special thing.
That's awesome.
So the thing with the Warthog is it's a twin turbofan, and it's got pretty much this. Oh, I must be hitting something here.
Oh, you were hitting the other plane, I
Yeah, I'm
think.
hitting the Pilatus. I'm gonna move a little bit. Yeah.
I hope you didn't scratch a paint on it.
Oh, I think maybe. You might have to put another one out there. Okay, let me see. I'll put the brakes on. Yeah, so this one, it's not really the engine noise, because the engines on this are just your standard turbofans. It's like the same thing you'd have on on like a Canadair, like a regional jet. So. But what you really want to hear with this is what everybody wants to hear, which is
Oh, the
famous Burt. Yeah, so that one's coming very soon. That's the next big thing for PTF is the Warthog, and it's got bombs and missiles and everything. I've just killed myself because you should never drop a bomb when you're.
Hey, good effect though. Good effect.
Yeah,
That's
it's a pretty
cool.
good effect.
You walked right through the flame
Never
there.
drop a bomb when you're.
Wow, that's pretty. So if you do crash that plane, it's gonna blow up.
If you get killed, if you get Vice killed, it goes into a death spiral. Like,
Cool.
Yeah, it ejects you and then
Yeah.
it goes into a death spiral and then it will disappear. Yeah.
I went to a demonstration. It was the National Guard. We have a base near us, and we got to go out on the bombing range out there, and they were flying A-10s over us, and they would shoot their Gatling guns right above us.
Oh wow.
Because the target was like half a mile away, but they were shooting right over us, and man, I tell you, it scares the crap out of you.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a
sound
scary
just gotta
sound.
be,
Yeah,
I can't imagine what it's like in real life.
yeah. But I mean,
after
that sounded.
After that from PTF, the next thing after that's going to be the Navion. That's an old Ryan plane from mid-50s, I think. But I have, from my own little shop, I have something that was just released, this is going to be very interesting. It is a hybrid between a car and a helicopter. Now, where is it? There it is. So this is the AVTR helicar, and it took me a while to get this to work, because in order to make it really work, it's not like one of the old scripts where when it goes into flight mode, it's just sort of a really basic up and down, forward, back type thing. I wanted it to actually drive like a real helicopter. So on the ground, it drives like a car. And let me just turn my AO off because that's a silly sit. So on the ground, it drives like a car. Thing's nuclear powered, so you can hear it.
Yeah, that's cool. Hear the
spinning up
reactor.
Yeah, there's a nuclear reactor in there. So it just drives like a normal car on the ground. But if you say flight, then it becomes a flying machine.
Oh, cool.
Elon's not going to be happy about this.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
That's
I know
cool.
somebody who will like that.
Yeah, this one just got released.
It's going to love that.
Sure, sure.
That is awesome. Great effect with the flames coming out below, or the smoke.
Well,
or-
there's I don't know if you can see underneath, but there is an inertial plate that provides basically an ion stream that will keep you afloat. But then there's
Oh, no, yeah, I
thrusters
see
that
it.
give effects that
Okay,
you need
yeah. Wow.
for helicopter operation, because
That's
the
cool.
helicopter is always going to use basically a vectoring system in order to move, you know.
Wow. That's awesome.
Well, if you ever make an Apache, I know somebody that definitely will play this game.
Yeah.
I know it's not a game. I'm sorry. That was sacrilegious.
That's a game for me.
Yeah, it's
You know,
still.
Mickey might make an Apache. We just got to talk him into it. He's the one that
That's
does
cool.
all the complex interiors and stuff like that. I don't know if you can see the interior, but what
I'm
I
going
made
to
was
zoom in on it here.
It's an interactive thing, so it actually shows the position of your collective and cycling. So
You got
if
a
you
HUD
move
there,
up,
yeah. Oh yeah, I see
yeah,
it.
then you can see the dots will move
Yeah.
to indicate the
Wow.
various positions, what you would have if you had
Okay.
real stick
Cool.
controls like.
Yeah. Oh,
Those flight mechanics, the way that flies, I've never seen anything that cool.
Yeah,
that
that's what I
is
meant.
that is really awesome.
All brand new scripting.
Yeah.
None of the stuff that I make is drop-in script. It's all
Yeah.
just done.
Yeah. You can
custom.
tell. I know from flying your planes that you've put a lot of time into it. So.
I have a
And
number of cars now in the market too that have my
yeah.
own car script.
And what? Tell everybody where your shop's at. Your store.
It's in Gangwon. It's
Okay.
called Alpha Omega Design.
Alpha
Well,
Omega.
I'm pretty sure you're going to put a link on the YouTube page, right?
Yeah, we'll put one up there. And that car was that's a concept car, right? Based
Yeah,
on
the model for that exists in real life. It's a Mercedes concept, although I
Yeah.
don't know if they've actually made it drive. It may just be a, just a concept car that's
Yeah.
a shell, basically.
Uh,
Obviously, the real one is not going to fly.
it looks a lot like the cars that they had. Have you saw the movie Minority Report?
Yes, and I
Yeah.
actually read the book, but the
Yeah.
book's like a 1950s
Yeah.
Philip K. Dick book, so
Yeah, right.
it's very different from the movie.
But the movie, they based Spielberg took a bunch of scientists and computer techs and geeks and whatever to an island, and they had a weekend retreat. And he asked them the question, what will the current technology we have look like in 50 years? And so that's, if you watch that movie and just focus on all the technology they show, I think they hit it pretty good. Of course, that was made in 99 or 2000 when that came out. So, we're halfway there. And
The Tom Cruise movie.
yeah. And but the car, because he goes in the has a fight in the in the factory where they're making the Lexus cars, and he has a fight in there, and then he ends up getting trapped in the Lexus car, and they thought they had him, and they go to he comes out of the paint booth in the car and then drives off in it. And it looks a lot like that car. But anyway, anything else anybody'd like to add before we close here?
Oh, as far as the sim crossing, the way it is now is so much better than when I started 11 years ago.
Yes, I will agree with that. It is much better.
One of the things that you can do that is not well known is for anything, whether it's sim crossing or with any kind of lag, try this on for size. This is like not very well known, so I'm not going to say that this is either misinformation or factual. So this is something to try on for size. Mute all of your group notices and group chats, and see if you have better performance.
That's a good idea. I hadn't thought about that.
So just shut those boxes off?
Yeah, put them on sleep, because you can adjust the sleep duration or the snooze duration for them, and put that for like 3 or 4 hours, so you can be uninterrupted by any group chats for 3 or 4 hours, and see if you get better performance.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Good advice.
Yeah.
We'll try
good
that.
advice. Yeah. Bull, you said about 11 years ago. That was about the time when they introduced mesh, wasn't it? And remember, there was they had a problem on the servers, and you could hardly go from one region to another. And the aviation community and the sailing community were up in arms. Most of the sailing community was ready to quit because they couldn't sail a boat from one region to another. And it was somebody, after about a year of that, somebody found I forget what it was. It's a pretty simple problem, but they was able to fix the code, and it improved greatly.
Oh yeah, I can remember.
Remember that.
It seems like there was a couple times that it was almost unplayable. I mean, you could stay in your sim, but as far as sim crossings, yeah, I can remember. That's been a while ago though. Things have been pretty darn good actually. I just took a flight down to what's that airport oh boy, over by Snow, only farther. It's
Oh
a
yeah,
great airport.
the grass runway airport back there. Yeah, I've got
That is
Oh, the one at
awesome.
the very end, the one that
yeah,
has the little fire trap, or if you go too far, it starts a fire.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
I think I did a
stay something.
yeah. I did a video on it, and I can't even remember the name of it. Not that long ago. Uh,
Yeah, I've
yeah,
been there. I
yeah.
helped someone put out a fire there too.
Oh yeah, cool.
It's
Yeah,
Okay,
that's a nice little jog.
yeah. Okay, we're a little bit over time, but well, we were
Jotnar.
yeah. We're a little bit over time, but we were a little late getting started, so we're going to do this again. Haven't set a date or time or anything, but guys, I've really enjoyed this. I don't really want to quit. It's a good conversation, and I'm sure we'll have more to talk about next time if you want to join me, that is. And we got a great location to do a podcast here. So
Yeah, let's do it.
any closing words?
Yeah, I have to say, great thank to you, Luke. It was a great idea to create the podcast here at St. Aubrey. I'm very happy. Thank you for that. Thank you, Alpha and Omega too. It was very nice to have you here, and I hope we can continue with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you.
a lot, Luke. I really appreciate it. Sorry about messing things up to begin with.
Nah, you're
That
okay.
won't happen again, though.
Hey, it's Second Life. You know, I mean, it's Second Life. So I'm putting the slide back up here. We're streaming live, of course, on YouTube and on the MTFB Radio in-world stream and web stream, and we're also on Zeno.fm, which is like a podcast streaming channel, and it's streaming live there now. But it should be, if everything worked all right, it should be available to listen to on demand. So if you want to listen to any part of it, you can go on Zeno.fm, Zeno.fm, and then just search MTFB Radio. And I've got several podcast radio shows on there that I did, but this one will be available. And of course, it'll be on the YouTube channel as well. So.
Well, I think everybody who watches this is going to want to get their plane and come and land here because it's beautiful. It's like coming to the Caribbean.
Yeah, it is. And it's just relaxing to be here. And we didn't really talk about the sailing events that they have here, but are you still doing sailing races every 3 times a week?
Yeah, they still are, and they have a huge dedicated group. I mean,
Yeah.
it is quite the group. I mean, yeah, it's really something. And what's interesting is the way they sim cross. I mean, they got her down to a science, as you would expect.
Right. Yeah, and what's your group leader's name there? Sailing group?
It's TG Bianca.
Bianca. Sorry, I blanked out on that. And she's got a YouTube channel that she videos all the races, and which are very good. And then I did a video when I was here for our airport to airport video, and I did a video of the one race that they had when I was here. So if you want to check it out, it is cool. It's very exciting to watch too.
They will teach you how to sail because I mean they use a lot of equipment and they are really dedicated sailors, but they love to have new people. So if anyone's interested in sailing, you can stop by and look up Bianca, and she'll get you squared away.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to drop the stream here, and I do thank you guys. I thank you, Matt May and Bull, for your hospitality here and the beautiful airport. AW for sharing your wisdom and knowledge here about scripting and participating in the conversation. And let's do this again real soon. What do you say?
Oh, I say great. Let's do it again.
Okay. Take care, everyone. We'll see you all next time. Just about. Hold on.